Now, inside school libraries across the country, employees are caught in an argument between parents and district boards.
So Chris Stewart met with people feeling the effect of potential book bans, both librarians who find out a book is challenged and a parent who wants certain stories pulled from her child's school library.
When you think of a library, you think of a quiet place where you can find a good book to escape. But recently there's been a lot of noise with debates over what should and shouldn't be on public bookshelves and an increase in efforts to ban certain titles and themes at libraries nationwide. Jamie LaRue has spent much of his career fighting censorship. For nearly 25 years, he was the head of a public library system outside Denver.
I got 250 challenges, and by challenge I mean an attempt to remove or restrict access to some library resource.
For this story, I also spoke with Brooke Stevens. She's with Utah Parents United, a group that is in favor of books which she considers sexually explicit to be banned from public school libraries.
That's where our kids can check out books without our knowledge. They go in there, they can read it.
The American Library Association says last year there were a record number of attempts to ban or restrict access to books at libraries. According to PEN America, a group that fights book bans, books written by or about members of the LGBTQ community and people of color are challenged the most.
In the recent years, say the last 15 to 20 years, we have begun to see new voices, people of color, LGBTQ. And as those voices start to rise, our society starts to change.
A growing number of states have passed laws that limit topics like sex and race being taught in school. Anti-censorship advocates say those laws make it easier for books to be banned. Last year, Utah's conservative state legislature passed a bill that banned books the state considers pornography. Critics of the law say many of the books that have been banned offer important perspectives. For example, take the book All Boys Aren't Blue. PEN America says it is one of the most banned in the country. Supporters describe it as a story of growing up black and queer and feeling different.
My friend sent me the book All Boys Aren't Blue, and I was pretty shocked about two 11-year-old boy cousins, their sexual encounters or adventures or whatever you may call it. And that's where I said, oh, I had no idea this was in schools and other parents need to know.
Brooke Stevens runs a website that encourages parents in Utah to challenge books in public school libraries. The site has a list of more than 400 books that are rated for what she considers sexually explicit content, with 5 being the most.
Yes, I believe that the 5s and the 4s should be pulled from the schools completely. And if they do want to keep them, have them labeled restricted area if the child is 18.
The spreadsheet on her website also marks whether books contain topics like LGBTQ issues and critical race theory, but she says that's not her focus.
But that's not a criteria we're looking for, and so we don't even have a record of what percentage is LGBTQ because we're focusing on sexually explicit books.
School districts in more than half of U.S. states have banned books since the middle of 2021, according to PEN America. In response to the rise in book bans nationwide, the Brooklyn Public Library in New York launched its Books Unbanned program, offering free library cards to people between 13 and 21 to access their entire collection no matter where they are. Chief Librarian Nick Higgins told me more than 6,000 students have applied, representing every state.
Young people who write to us are, seeing that books that reflect their own experiences, that reflect the lives and narratives of people that they care about the most, being targeted, and they feel threatened in their own communities.
Jamie believes it's a vocal minority leading the charge to ban books in libraries and schools.
I believe in America today, despite all the noise and the polarization that goes on, I believe we have a deep thirst for meaningful conversation. We want to figure out what matters, what's important.
And he says there is no better place to do that than the library. Chris Stewart, Scripps News, Denver.